Okay, this question starts in a friendly way because it tells you you have an arithmetic series and it tells you what letters to use for the first term and the common difference. So set it up in the normal way. Then we've got to prove that the sum of the first n terms is this formula. So you have the proof of this in your notes, but don't just copy it out. Start, just to give you a hint about how it works, you have Sn, okay, equals a plus, and then you can put dot dot dot, and you can put something that means the last term. And then if you remember, the trick is to write Sn equals again, but put the terms in the reverse order, to add them to get 2Sn, okay, and then to use the fact that you know how many terms there are, and you can also justify that when you add these together, you always get the same total. So you'll be able to write this as a multiplication, divide by 2 to get the half, and if you've used L for the last term, then you need to say that L, the last term, is the nth term of the AP, and you can use the UN formula, that's alright, to say what the last term is, and that should lead you towards this, but you should have the full proof in your notes if you need it. Okay, now we've got Sean. Okay, so his monthly repayments form an arithmetic sequence. Good, so we know we've got an AP. So you write AP, and of course you're looking for what A equals and what D equals. So he repays 149 in the first month, which is great. So we also know the second and the third month, so A and D you should be able to write down. So now it's just a question of spotting what's needed here. So find the amount he repays in the 21st month. So we need to find either UN or SN. So is it UN or is it SN? Well, UN would be just the 21st amount, and SN would be a total or a sum of amounts. So decide which one you've got here. And then it says over the N months he repays a total of £5,000. So this is going to be a UN or an SN. Okay, and we've got to form an equation in N and show it can be written as this. So it's a show that, so this is our end point. So to form an equation in N, that's our start point. Well, it's got to be something equaling 5,000. So you have to decide whether that 5,000 is a UN or an SN or something else, and quote the relevant formula if it's a UN or an SN. Okay, put in the values of A and D you've got, okay, and then you should be able to rearrange that into this quadratic equation. But even if you can't do that, if you got stuck on C, don't give up on D. This is a re-entry point, okay? Because solve the equation in part C, well, they didn't give us that equation, so we have to solve that. So this is a quadratic to solve. It's quite a large factorization because we've got a big number 5,000, so you might need to try a number of grids before you get it right. And then in part E, we've got to state with a reason which of the solutions in these is not sensible, okay? Now, we haven't yet used this information we've been given. And the other possibility is that things like negative numbers and fractions are not sensible. But I suspect it's this information from higher up the question that you might need. Okay, so that's question 1.